Let's start the thing. So right now we will cover certain basics of how we write our code. Okay. I'll give you access to the code base. Once you get access to the code base, right? There are a couple of things that you need to know. If you go to the main code base, right? There is something called start API. Okay. If you basically do start API and provide dev, it basically starts the API in dev mode. Okay, let's cover what does that mean, right? So here if you look at it, right, in our this is our folder structure. There is something called functions. This is where we write all our APIs, API ka code. There is UI. This is where we write UI ka code. Okay. So if you go to the APIs code, there are different folder structure. One of the item is config, and one is DB. Config is where we have different configurations. Say for example, dev configuration. How do we, if there are any configuration related to dev environment, right? Say for example, which SMS provider should I send SMS through in the dev environment? Similarly, in the test environment, which SMS provider should I use in the test environment? So you can have environment specific configuration file. Do you understand what these things are, guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now we have something called DB. We will get into this little later. There is a folder called library. There are a lot of reusable code that we have written, and it's all in library. Locales files is used for your localization. We'll again come to this when time comes. There is something called logs file. This is where all the application logs are written. This is based on dates. If you go to the latest date, right, you will probably see all the log files written over here. Let me just show you the thing. So here you see all the logs regarding the application are written over here. So we will see how to write logs and all those things. This is the logs folder. Then you have log config. Don't need to worry about it right now. We will talk about it later. This is the migration file. You guys have gone through SQLize, right? You understand what migrations are, right?
Yeah.
So this is where your migration goes. And similarly, you have model folder. This is where all your model goes. Okay, your database model if you're using SQLize. Now apart from this, there is a notification folder. All your SMS, in-app notification, your FCM notification, all those things are taken care by this guy. Then we have a folder called resources. This is where all our APIs actually are. Okay, we will take a look at what are the various APIs and why is it called resources also we will take a look. And then there is this folder called test. This is where all our test scripts go. Okay, so what we will do is, let me first of all see which branch we are in. Git. Let me okay. Okay, just created one a branch for training batch 8 and this is started. So this is where all your test cases are. And first thing that we need to talk about is, what do you guys understand by RESTful service? Can you just Sai, do you know what RESTful services are?
Like as in creating RESTful APIs?
Correct. Do you know what RESTful APIs are?
Yeah, just the post or the get post and these are.
Okay, we'll talk about that. So RESTful API. Let's go to the definition of RESTful API so that we understand REST. So it is basically a representational state transfer. What does this essentially mean, right? So there are multiple rules for RESTful APIs. What they're basically telling is everything on the web is considered as a resource. Okay, say for example, I can access a file using HTTP protocol. Say for example, if I have dot png file in my server, I can basically access that using HTTP, let us say whatever the server name is, napsys.com/file.png, correct? So now you will get this image file. Similarly, I can get various things. It can be image, or it could be a video, right? So similarly, if I have another video file, MP4 for example, I can basically load this also. Similarly, I can load a HTML file. So various kind of files can be loaded, right? Let's say index.html, right? So everything is a resource. So what they are telling is, let's even consider all our application entities also as resources. What does that mean? Let us take a simple example of, let's take a to-do application. Okay, do you guys know what to-do is, right? A simple to-do task. So let us say I have to create a to-do. I'll create a to-do task. What is the to-do task? Session at 3 p.m. Okay, this is a to-do task I created. Now if you look at it, this is a resource in our application, right? So how do I access this resource in our application is what RESTful services is talking about. Okay, and how can I access all the resource in a uniform manner? Say for example, for to-do I basically can have HTTP, let me put localhost :3000, to-dos. So what will this do? This will give me all the to-dos. But they also are telling about, in order to access this uniformly, right, they have given certain verbs that you can use, and these verbs are HTTP verbs. And I'm pretty sure you guys know about what HTTP verbs are, but let me just cover it. You have get, you have post, you have put, you have patch, and you have delete, right? Delete or destroy? Delete.
Delete. Yeah.
So these are the HTTP verbs that exist, and using these HTTP verbs, you can do multiple things to the resources. Say for example, I basically have a URL /todos. Okay, how can I use all these HTTP words? Let's take a look at that. So if I basically call this with the get verb, it essentially gives me all the to-dos in the application. Right? So you're basically telling, give me all the to-dos. Okay. So for example, how do we create a to-do? So if I call this same URL and I basically use a post as the verb, this will create a new to-do in the application. Now, how do I get a specific to-do? Okay, I created a to-do session at 3 p.m. This one has an ID 1, for example. How do I get this particular to-do? So for that, what RESTful API basically tells is, use slash id, that is basically id, and use get method, then this will give me a specific to do, right? So in our case,
Yeah.
what is the id? Id is 1. So if
Param. Yeah.
I do to do's slash 1, I'll basically get the to do whose id is 1, and that will essentially be session at 3 p.m. correct?
Yeah.
Now, how do I update a to do? So similarly, they're telling if you want to update a to do, you basically take that particular to do, use put method. This will allow you to update that particular to do. So what does it mean to update a to do? Let us say I want to change the time of the session from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. I can update this using API, and in order to do that, they're basically telling use this URL. And similarly, if I want to, there are two things, put and patch. The difference between put and patch is, put, you're updating all the data. Say for example, if this is ID, you have name of the to do, that is session, and you have a date, this is 4 p.m. and you have status, which is in progress. Now if you update all the data, then you basically need to use put, okay? And if you want to just update only date, let's say from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m., then you basically use patch. Is that clear?
Yeah.
So similarly, if I basically use to do this and delete, it will basically delete a particular resource. Right?
Yeah.
So till now, whatever we discussed, is this clear?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's take another example, right? So let me say I want to create employees in a company. What do I do? How do I create a new employee in a company?
Post.
What is the URL? What will the URL be?
Slash create user or create employee.
No,
New
you will never
register.
use create user.
Yeah.
You will never use
Please.
create user because that is a verb. If you look at this,
Okay.
everything over here is a noun. To do is a noun.
Okay.
Create user is a verb. You will never basically have create user. You will just have users.
Okay.
This will basically be the resource in order to handle all the users, right? If I basically use post over here, it will create a new user. It could be users, or let us say in our case, I would basically go with employees. Right?
Yeah.
So post. Now if I have to get all the employees, what do I do?
Same URL with get.
Correct? Same URL will get. It will get all employees. Now let us say I want to get a particular employee. How do I do that?
Same URL with get, but we'll pass in and parent slash.
Slash, I can give an ID. Let us say Sai's ID is, he is an employee whose ID is 100. Then I basically pass 100. I will get Sai's details, and the method should be get, right?
Get. Yeah.
Now if I want to update Sai's details, say for example, he is added to a new project. How do I update that?
If you are replacing the entire details, it is put, or only certain column it is patch.
Correct. Either put or patch, right?
Yeah.
If you want to update. If I want to remove Sai from the company, what do I do?
Delete.
Right? Correct? So now let's take one last example. Let us take an example of an e-commerce example. Okay, I want to see all the categories. Say for example, electronics, whatever things are there, electronics, grocery, or what else can be there, clothes, right? I
Yeah.
want to get
Yeah.
all the categories. What do I basically put the URL as? Yes, guys. I'm looking.
Categories.
Sorry. Yeah. Please answer. It's all right. If it's wrong, it's all right.
Category or I mean noun. I'm checking something.
What will it be?
Category. itself
Categories
you
and
can-
get.
Categories, right? You basically have categories, and you use
Get.
okay. For example, if I want to get a specific category, I'm assuming obviously it will be ID of the
ID.
category and get, right?
Get.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
in this category, I want to get all the products of this category. What do I do?
Categories and product and
Yeah, so this is known as nested route. So what I will do is in this category, get me all the products. PRODUCTS. This will give me all the products for this particular category, right? It doesn't
Yeah,
give me the
yeah.
category itself. Within that category, give me all the products, right?
Yeah.
Similarly, if I want to get a specific product within the category, same thing with ID,
ID. Yeah.
correct? You can do get. Similarly, if I want to create a product in that particular category, I can basically do products and
And
post,
post. Yeah.
right? Now, if you look at it, all our resources are usually noun. And it is
Yeah.
not usually noun, it is always noun, but it's usually plural. It is products because it's a collection of products. It is categories, it is a collection of categories. I don't basically put category over here, right? So,
okay.
95% of the time, most of the time it will be plural. Say for example, there could be a cart, not cart, let us say Aadhaar card, okay? Employee has an Aadhaar card. I don't need to, employee will not have multiple Aadhaar cards, right? Say for example, he'll have only one Aadhaar card. So there you can basically do employee 100 dot Aadhaar. You don't have to have Aadhaars because an employee cannot have more than one Aadhaar, correct?
Yeah.
So from that perspective, you need to be careful whether to use plural or singular. Based on the kind of entity you are creating, we'll have to decide. So in terms of RESTful services, you guys get it, what it is?
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's get into little more detail. I'll not see REST service itself is a very huge topic. Okay, you can basically do a lot of things. Say for example, I'll tell you for this, what does this get do?
It gets the particular product from the category.
For that category, correct?
Yeah.
Now let us say I basically use, you know HTTP has headers, right?
Yeah.
I basically use content type equal to what is for image slash JPEG, right?
Yeah.
What will this do?
It will try to fetch images type from the resource.
For that particular product, this
Product,
product
yeah.
detail, it will basically give the image representation of that product. Okay, so for
Yeah.
example, if I basically make content type as application slash JSON,
JSON data. It will give.
right? For the
Yeah.
same product, we are going to return the JSON object, right?
Yeah.
If I basically tell application slash XML, excuse me guys, sorry.
Yeah.
It will give the same product in an XML format.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll not get into more details of RESTful services. You guys can read more about it, but I just wanted to give you guys an orientation of what exactly RESTful services are. So here it is clear till now.
Clear.
Cool. I'll just remove this. And now what we will do is we will go to our, now do you understand why it is called resources? Everything in our API, everything in our application is a resource. Okay.
Resource.
So now I create the first resource. What is it? Users. So what all can you do in users? You can create a user, right? So what we will do is I will get all the users. Right now I'm not loading from the database. Get all. As part of this training program, I will as part of this session I will basically do a hard-coded get users. Okay, I'll basically do get users. So if you look at it, right, I will remove this. There is database over here. I will remove this for now. We'll come to database little later. If you look at here, there are few items that are little different from what you guys are doing till now, right? There is something called route, okay? And if you look at it, you guys have gone through Express, right? API Node Express. So there is a way to bind your URLs, but we are not using that. We are using something called route in order to bind the URLs, and this is our own custom implementation, okay? So the advantage it basically gets it, you can, the thing that we were trying to achieve is, if I come to a particular page, let's say get all users, I will come to know what the functionality is, right? And also I will come to know what the URL is. How do I access it? Okay. So instead of going to your routes and searching for the URL and all those things, right? This makes it very simple. And apart from that, we are also telling that I can basically tell whether this URL needs to be accessed with security, without security, without or without auth. So with auth, we can, this will basically give authorization. Say for example, /users can be accessed only by admins, for example. Then if you are not an admin, it will not allow you to access. So just with auth will not allow you. It's not that just if you put without it will do it. We will get to the authorization part little later. I just wanted to tell the advantage of using routes. Okay. So right now we will go with no auth. So essentially all the users can access, all the users in our system can access this URL /users, and we are also telling without security. When I tell with security, right, we basically use JWT token in order to secure our APIs. So only after you log in and authenticate, right, you will get a JWT token, and all the APIs we need to pass the token. Only then we will be able to access the subsequent APIs. By default, I have made it without security. If you want a API to be secure, that is anyone who does not have the JWT token should not be able to access, then you remove this and you basically tell with security.
Okay.
Is this clear?
Got it.
So this is the simple way we have basically done without security, no auth, and I'm telling post. I can basically tell get, okay, /users. So we are doing, we need to get all the details of all the users, correct?
Yeah.
Awesome. So what we will do is I'll basically have a method over here, get all users. Okay. Here I am, instead of reading from the database, I am just returning a hard-coded value. Okay. Just returning an array where ID is 1, name of the first user is user1, and let us say email is user1@gmail.com. Okay. Similarly,